Hola, hola, hola. Welcome from the darkness. Thank you for joining this special, special for me, breaking of the silence. Been in silence since October 3rd, and maybe that's enough drama. Okay, I will exit the dark room. Just wanted to have some fun and share what it was like. Ah, the last 12 days, I did a dark room retreat, which is exactly what it sounds like. 12 days of absolute darkness. Very special room, no light, sound cut out, easy to navigate, obviously, and just you and your thoughts and the dark. So I first heard about dark room retreats December of 2020, and it really resonated. I said, wow, that's for me. Don't know how or why. Did as is often awesome to do, lots of internet research, and found out there's a long history to dark room retreats. Ancient yogis would go in the caves for a long time, or the Taoists have a long history too. Mantak Chia, who's very famous in Thailand, has a really good darkroom retreat going right now, a darkroom retreat center. And there's a few places, a lot here in Mexico and Central America. Well, not a lot, but interestingly seem to be concentrated in this area. So I went in October 4th and came out yesterday about not quite 30 hours ago. So I'm still integrating. I spent yesterday in silence. So today is the first like talking and getting my bearings back. So first question, of course, why do a dark room retreat? Very good question. It is on the extreme of things that can be done spiritually. As a lot of you know, the last few years have been very difficult for me. I came across this idea of dark night of the soul. I was like, yeah, that's it. Or more colloquially, midlife crisis. So it's been percolating. Why not go all the way in to the darkness? So I think that might have been part of the calling for this retreat. Wanted to clear out some gunk and curiosity. Wanted to see what it was all about. And be in that silence and the depths of what that is. A lot. Okay, so how the heck was it? The two main words percolating throughout the 12 days and solidifying yesterday are confronting and profound. very, very, very confronting just being with yourself and leaving everything behind. Of course, then profound, given the nature of what's possible diving in, exploring that much. So those are the two big words. I could go on and on and on, and maybe I will, but first I wanted to really, this being group transcendation, work on this intention of transmission, transmitting. So in a few moments we'll see if that's possible to share the dark room retreat experience. That's certainly what I would love to do, because along my long list of intentions for the dark room retreat was to be able to share more skillfully. So in a few moments we'll discuss that. I'll give a couple more logistics. People often like to ask about food and keeping that darkness. So they have a little two-way door that is like you see at banks, right? You open the one side, put the food in, close it, and then I open from the inside, so no food gets in. So they were kind enough to deliver. The first days I had some fruit in the morning and then a meal at night. I did 4 days of fruit and a meal. The second 4 days I did just the fruit. And the last 4 days I fasted. That felt right, and I wanted the immersion. And I also wanted to go all the way beyond time. So that was the food. What else can I tell you logistically? Yeah, that's about it for logistics. As we talked about in a recent video, and something very alive, is this balance between intentions and flow. The healthy masculine in me loves being intentional and having goals and getting lots of things done. And then there's this healthy feminine side of me that loves the flow and just allowing and seeing what happens and being relaxed in the moment, not driven. So hard to be driven in a dark room retreat. It's lots of flow and a lot of intentions going in also, of course, like I said, diving into a lot of darkness and really trying to get some clarity. Also very important to me was a rebirth. Wanted to really come out different. Maybe I'll say cutely Prasad 2.0, but I was very, very intentional about a shift in that. So that's overview of what a dark room retreat is, and obviously it's fun to Google and check out more, and why do one. But now, and those are fun things to sit about and think about, I would like to take a few moments and see if a bit of a transmission is possible. I'm still integrating. I'm going to be integrating for a while. But part of the integration, if you would like, maybe to explore with me. Maybe take a few moments and think about what it would be like if you were to make the decision to go on a dark room retreat for yourself. And together, maybe we can go through a brief version, and I'll share a little bit viscerally firsthand what went on for me. But if you were to make that decision, what would your intentions be? Or what would be the motivation? And as you possibly think about those, I can tell you about the ritual here and in a lot of darkroom retreats. You set up the room and walk around it and get comfortable. I arrived a day and a half early to really get a feel here for Mazunte, Mexico, where I am, and I wanted some time in. And then before you begin, you go over all the logistics and start off with a little candle, maybe a little tea candle that burns about 2 hours. So maybe you can think about a little tea candle in an otherwise pitch black room. Maybe there's a little bit of fear. Maybe there's a little bit of nervousness. There absolutely was for me. This darkroom retreat, no matter how much internet research is done, is still profoundly the unknown. A deep, deep, deep dive into the unknown. And for me, that truly came up with this candle going. And when this candle goes out, that's it. I had the good fortune of falling asleep while the candle was going. So maybe some rest is starting. And maybe, if you would like, it could be a fun time to close your eyes. And really start dropping in. As our eyes close, maybe we can, at the very start, embracing the darkness. Or instead of saying the darkness, maybe embracing darkness. Preparing ourselves for this adventure we're embarking upon in the dark with the silence, because we know it's going to stay dark for a while, and we don't know what's going to happen or what our experience is going to be. The first few days, generally what happens, a lot of melatonin is produced with all the darkness. So, with that melatonin, there's a lot of sleep that can happen. A lot of people report catching up on lots of sleep. And in and out of all this sleep you're doing, in this darkness, in this little journey, let's together really dive in to what it is to be in darkness, in silence. Maybe the most amazing part, without distractions. No computer, no dogs barking, no cell phone. No partners, spouses, exes, friends, bosses, co-workers, external stressors. Obviously no TV, no internet, no Netflix, no distractions. Just you. Doing, being, whatever you want in the darkness. Maybe exploring your intentions. Maybe exploring your darkness. Exploring your shadows. As this melatonin is flowing, catching up on our sleep, there's an adjustment with these days starting to flow, first few days. Like the great wise Pramadaya says, human beings are adaptation machines. So we're adjusting to the dark and being with ourselves. And this absolute freedom. No obligations. No responsibilities. No commitments. No time. No external communications. Physically. Obviously, internal communications. Self-communications. And for those into it, soul-to-soul communications. Diving into this feeling, this sense, this state of time being lost. No distinctions of night and day. The same experience, eyes open or closed. Remember multiple times waving my hand in front of my eyes at 1 inch away. No perception. Being deeply with yourself, with nothing to do, no plans, absolute freedom, so you get to create. This dark room was big enough for a jump rope, so I was jump roping, doing calisthenics. A lot of people obviously do yoga. A lot of nice yoga to be done, great practice, keeping up your physical. A lot of breath work. Loads and loads of breath work, if you like. And definitely, of course, meditation and contemplation. Oodles and oodles and oodles upon oodles of meditation and contemplation. Most people around day 4 or 5 report DMT being produced and or released around the pineal gland. For those who don't know, DMT is considered the spirit molecule, something a lot of psychonauts are chasing around with psychedelics. I definitely had a couple journeys, DMT-ish. One very profound, I'll share later. Another very light. It was very lighter visuals for me. A lot of people report pretty heavy visuals. But regardless, for most of us, the brain is pretty busy. So depending upon your karma, What visuals might you be seeing after 4 or 5 days in darkness? What explorations, what realms might you be heading towards? What insights might be coming after days of meditation and contemplation, distraction free? What realizations might you be having? Day 6, day 7, deepening even further. What sort of thoughts might your mind be having whilst unfettered? What sorts of karmas could you be clearing out? What are your emotions? What's your experience? Are you striving to go deeper? Are you terrified? Or are you basking in the contentment of this profound experience? Reveling in this commitment that you made to this experience, to this transformation. Then, at some point, maybe your experience might shift a little bit into the realization that, oh wow, this retreat's going to come to a close. This is an experience, a temporary event. A conclusion is coming. Maybe you're thinking, what does wrapping up look like? Are you striving for more? Are you hankering to be out of the dark? Are you ready to go back to your life? Are you flooded with gratitude for this opportunity, for this gift you gave yourself? How is it to be with yourself and nothing else? How are the last moments of your darkroom retreat? Be it a few moments guided or a longer duration. There's the rooster, or in my experience, the knock with the guide, letting you know it's time for the coming out ceremony. That it's time to say goodbye to the dark. I was escorted to the beach on a beautiful starlit walk. We had a sunrise ceremony to conclude the darkroom retreat. It was not super easy walking initially. Took a while to get back into that 3D realm. It was really great being with the stars, our friends the stars with their little points of light, sitting there at the beach, reacclimating to sensations and stimulus until the light starts shifting and our friend the sun starts coming up. And so we can welcome the light and that friend. Fun moment with that word enlightenment. Oh yeah. My eyes were closed, reliving the journey. But I just realized that at this point, the eyes would be open, wouldn't they? um, so, thank you for joining me on that ride through the 12 days. Here we are together at that critical point of integration. Is it just another experience? Oh, got kind of high, running back into life? Or how is it going to shift? How's it going to change? So, naturally, obviously, every darkroom retreat is going to be different for every individual based upon their karma, their goals, where they're at in life, who they are, what's going on in life, what they desire. So, I'll say that disclaimer before I share a little bit about some things that happened for me, some insights. I don't want to say the biggest insights or most profound insights because they were all profound and they're still swimming and wow, I just can't repeat myself enough and can't say enough how important integration is. A lot of competent psychedelic people talk about integration, and that's correct. Yes, it is. And those are generally, what, 4, 5, 6, maybe 12-hour journeys? So extended journey like a darkroom retreat, wow, bringing it in, letting it shift in life. Things like the insight I had of the need to slow down. For years now, my trauma work and life work, I've been working hard to slow down. I've been going so fast for so long, and Western society especially goes so fast, to-do list, and get this done and achieve and be successful. And the energy around us to move quickly. So I'm sitting there in the dark room with nothing to do, literally nothing to do. Those first few days, and then first 8 days with food, the food comes in, right? Okay, through the door. And I sit down and I start eating. And with my awareness, you know, for me, lots of expanded awareness in the darkroom retreat. I'm eating a bite, and my hand is ready, grabbing the next, preparing for the next meal, the next bite, and on and on and on. And I literally start laughing, like, why am I eating quickly? I have nothing to do all day. Why not savor this food? Why not slow down and enjoy this moment? of consumption. Feel this food in my hands. Feel this food in my mouth. Feel my body as it prepares to digest. Not just habitually, like a half-hour lunch break, wolf down and go on to the next thing. Why not slow down and enjoy? So that's like one example for me of slowing down and the importance of slowing down. A lot of you know I've really for many months now been contemplating and looking at what is mastery, or mastership is the new word. What is mastership? Really, after 12 days, plugging into masters, holy cows, do they move slowly. Masters don't rush around, no place to go. Sorry, masters don't rush around with a place to go in a hurry. No place to go. Nothing to do. Certainly no urgency necessary. With the one exception, of course, of, cardiovascular exercise. If you're into it, great, go fast. I was doing my jump rope and high knees and some calisthenics. Take care of the body, absolutely. But by and large, watching how fast we're going, and especially the mind, and I don't want to project onto you, please, I hope you're more advanced than me, but how fast my mind goes, racing to the next thing, planning out so much, so ridiculously not necessary. Slowing down. So that was a huge, huge, huge takeaway from the darkroom retreat. I had a lot of soul-to-soul conversations. I went amazingly deep into some pockets of darkness, still processing, working through this whole addiction karma, and not just to substances or stimuluses, externally, but the deeper I get into it, the addiction to drama, addiction to conflict, addiction to human gnarliness. So deep, still processing a lot of that work, and then tied into it, went really crazy deep into the darkness of incest, transgenerational energetic violations around incest. Whoa, that was huge. What else can I share from the darkroom retreat? All right, time for the amazing experience. A lot of you know I've been pretty fixated and obsessed with soul travel since I first heard about it about 6 years ago. And I had to date the most profound, exploratory, soul traveling exploration yet. Clearly saw some ascended masters pointing out other realms and inviting, and it was wow. That was probably the highlight of the retreat, at least as far as experiences go. But again, the great integration now is releasing this attachment to experience. Right. A lot of great ideas for Soul's Enterprise. A lot of brainstorming. Oh yeah, I did another fun technical note. I did journal, trying to have my hand go across, and it's funny, the pen went out, and it actually worked out okay. I'll share. Yeah, you could actually read a little bit. Um, yeah, so that was interesting. So I wrote like 20 or 30 pages in the journal. So, gonna sum it all up before taking any questions. But yeah, the two big words. I mean, to sum it up into two words, it was profound, very, very profound, and confronting. I wanted to say challenging, but that's kind of trite, you know. And on another level, for me, it wasn't actually challenging. A lot of you know I've plugged into enough lifetimes as a yogi where it wasn't like challenging. I never ever was close to opening the door. Um, Day 8 or day 9 ish, I kind of said, "Oh, I got the experience. Maybe I can, end it early. That'd be fine." But yeah, it never. There was never a temptation. Just to know that it can end at any time, I think was very freeing. And am I glad I did it? Yes, categorically. Any regrets? No. Um, I would have fasted a little bit longer. That deepened the experience. Um, Disclaimer to anyone considering darkroom retreat: those two are very separate. I've been doing lots of fasting, so I wouldn't recommend diving into that. But if you're an experienced faster, um, yeah, but I wouldn't even call that a regret. That was fine. Would I recommend it? Absolutely. Definitely 6, 7 day minimum. There's not much of a point to do less than 6 or 7 days. And would I do it again? Yes. Yes, I would definitely do it again. And I would actually shoot for 40, 49 days. What I'm noticing so far in the 30 hours of integration is old habits coming up immediately, and how hard it is to change them, how much work there is to change them. And so, yeah, even at a more extended time, and I've read about yogis that are in 3, 6, 9 months, a year or two in the cave doing darkroom retreats. To really rewire on this deep level could even take longer. But yeah, that is the summary of my 12-day darkroom retreat experience. Wow, I rambled longer than expected. Hope you got to share a little bit of a journey there. Happy to field any questions there are over at Zoom as we dive into group transcendation. Going to conclude the social media part and see you all on Zoom.